Hello from Hello Studios. Today I'm going to be showing how to adjust your Mevo settings to fit your needs. So first thing I'm going to be talking about is the crop and zoom function, which you don't want to be doing too much of. If you're cropped just a little bit, I'd say like within this range, that's okay. But the more you go, the more grainy it's going to look, as you can see here. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look the best. So what I would suggest instead of doing is, let me go back to full zoom. As you can see, we have these tables here and we have shorter stands you can actually use. And I would suggest putting the camera on one of the shorter stands and putting it on the table to use. And you could also put that stand as close to you as you want or further away, just adjust it to your needing, and that way you're not zooming in and making that more grainy. Now to go into the actual image adjustments. So you click the three dots here and go to image adjustments. And there's some presets you can use here. Um, Kind of our more popular presets are the backlit. As you can see, very much brings out brightness and darkness within the film, or outdoors. That one looks good too. It's a little bright, but just depending on what you need. I'm going to show you how to go. Here's normal. As you see, it's a little dark, but I'm going to show you how you can adjust your video to fit your needs. So the most common settings we use are exposure down here. And as you can see, you adjust the values just by sliding the wheel. And this is going to adjust your brightness, as you can see. But you don't want to do too much of. Here, I'll show an example of too much. It really washes things out. We actually like to use exposure more than brightness, which I'll show a little later. But let's go to a better setting for exposure. I'd say the 1.0 that it was on was good. So this is what we get so far. Then we can slide on over to look at more settings. I'll now show you what it's like if you adjust the brightness, which you can also do. You just don't want to do too much of. As you can see, I'll just do like 0.3. And even 0.3 is a lot, as you can see. I'll show you 0.1. That's still a lot for brightness. So I wouldn't adjust that too much. I would keep that at 0 and stick to adjusting exposure. You could also go negative with the brightness if needed. Even that's a lot for just one setting. There's also contrast you can adjust if you need. And as you can see, this just adjusts the levels between the dark and the light. Kind of gives more range to them. And we usually like to keep this at 1 for clients, but if you are needing it or there's a situation, you can adjust as needed. But again, you don't want to go too much with it. As you can see here, it can be a lot. Finally, what we like to use, I would say exposure and saturation are the ones we handle most. So if you want more warmth in your videos, as you can see here, it's a little lacking. So we can turn it up a little just to adjust. And that already looks a little better. Maybe go a few more. I would say maybe one less. Okay, that's pretty good. I am wearing a bright orange shirt, so that makes a little bit of a difference. But I would say this is a good amount of warmth if you need. It just depends on what you're wearing, your setting, about how much saturation you need. But it's a good way to add warmth or take away warmth if you go into the negative values. But you don't want to do too much, as I'll show, because this is the fun part, which is way too warm right here. As you can see by my shirt and my face, I am looking very orange, so you want to make sure you don't run into that. And just some other settings, you want to make sure your output is actually unmuted, and whichever camera has the audio cable connected, which is the top cable in the camera, so that would be C1, which you are looking at right now. You want to make sure those two have bars showing, as you can see here, and these are actually a bit too high. If I'm talking louder, you kind of want them turned down a bit. You want them about like in the 75%, I'd say lower range, probably 60-ish percent range of audio. And that's with your highest volume. You want it at that range. So a little lower, and I think we're good. It's not going to adjust it right now because I'm not actually recording onto it. But yeah, when you're ready, you just hit record here. Make sure your cameras have enough storage to them, and you would hit start recording. If you're wanting to add any logos or a picture in picture or lower third or anything, you would come to this little picture icon over here and you can add what you need, a picture in picture, add a logo, add a picture to take up the whole screen, just whatever you're needing. And then you would just click on it and it would come up on your screen. But that's about it. Thank you so much for watching and let us know if you have any questions and tune in next time.